Hi, the book I'm reviewing today is called The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini. If you've been watching my book reviews, you'll know that I don't read non-fiction. Very rarely, unless it's Paulo Coelho. I really enjoy his books. This one came recommended by a friend, and I read quite a lot of great reviews on it, so I thought, let me give it a try, and I wasn't disappointed. Quite thick. It was such an absolutely delightful read. I couldn't put the book down. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and if you haven't read it, you should get your hands on it. What an absolutely fantastic read. It touches on so many topics that I think we all go through in varying degrees, but fundamentally the theme across the story is one of your past and forgiveness and introspection and looking into yourself, right? Who am I really? And to stop running away from whatever it is. And I think that's something that we can all relate to, even if it's on different levels. Is really, really good. I'll read some extracts. That was a long time ago, but it's wrong what they say about the past. I've learned about how you can bury it, because the past claws its way out. Looking back now, I realize I have been peeking into that deserted alley for the last 26 years. And that's it. There are certain things, or everyone says time heals. The past is in the past. You can bury it, as he's describing. But if you haven't made peace with it and confronted it, it does claw back. And this is his journey of going and making peace with what happened in that alley 26 years ago. But I wonder, he added, would you ever ask me to do such a thing, Amir Aga? And just like that, he had thrown at me his own little test. If I was going to toy with him and challenge his loyalty, then he'd toy with me, test my integrity. I wished I hadn't started this conversation. I forced a smile. Don't be stupid, Hassan. You know I wouldn't. Hassan returned the smile, except his didn't look forced. I know, he said. And that's the thing about people who mean everything they say. They think everyone else does too. It was Humaira and me against the world. And I'll tell you this, Amir Jan. In the end, the world always wins. That's just the way of things. And when we did, Farid warned me just after we passed the Mahipar Dam. Kabul is not the way you remember it, he said. So I hear. Farid gave me a look that said hearing is not the same as seeing, and he was right. Because when Kabul finally did unroll before us, I was certain, absolutely certain, that he had taken a wrong turn somewhere. Farid must have seen my stupefied expression. Shuttling people back and forth to Kabul, he would have become familiar with that expression on the faces of those who hadn't seen Kabul for a long time. He patted me on the shoulder. Welcome back, he said morsely. Thoughts were flying around in my head, but I didn't want to think at all, because a sober part of me knew that what I had managed to get myself into was insanity. I was thousands of miles from my wife, sitting in a room that felt like a holding cell, waiting for a man I had seen murder 2 people that same day. It was insanity. Worse yet, it was irresponsible. There was a very realistic chance that I was going to render Suraya a biwa, a widow, at the age of 36. "This isn't you, Amir," part of me said. "You're gutless. It's how you were made. And that's not such a bad thing, because your saving grace is that you've never lied to yourself about it. Not about that. Nothing wrong with cowardice as long as it comes with prudence. But when a coward stops remembering who he is, God help him." I thought this was really powerful. We all have many conversations with ourselves, and yes, we do lie to ourselves about certain things, but not everything. But which lies are we telling and believing? And are we really being cowards? A troubled little boy. You were too hard on yourself then, and you still are. I saw it in your eyes in Peshawar. But I hope you will heed this. A man who has no conscience, no goodness, does not suffer. I hope your suffering comes to an end with this journey to Afghanistan. I know it doesn't absolve anyone of anything, but the Kabul we lived in those days was a strange world, one in which some things mattered more than the truth. I cannot describe to you the depth and blackness of the sorrow that came over me when I learned of his passing. I loved him because he was my friend, but also because he was a good man, maybe even a great man. And this is what I want you to understand, that good, real good, was born out of your father's remorse. Sometimes I think everything he did, feeding the poor, on the streets, building the orphanage, giving money to friends in need, it was all his way of redeeming himself. And that, I believe, is what true redemption is, Amir Jan, when guilt leads to good. I know that in the end, God will forgive. He will forgive your father, me, and you too. I hope you can do the same. Forgive your father if you can. Forgive me if you wish. But most important, forgive yourself. And that's just it, right? And I'm going to end it in there and go and grab a copy of the book and read it. We all need to ultimately learn how to forgive ourselves. Let me know if you've read the book and if you enjoyed it.